We are joined by Thomas, the master chocolatier from Lindt, and your main job is to travel the world teaching people all the joys and the simple techniques of cooking chocolate, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so many things that you can do with quality chocolate like Lindt.
So what are we making today?
We are going to make like a Jamaretti, but we're going to fill it with some jam. So it's like a Jamaretti. But it's really like the chocolate again, of course, is the star of this. And when you have quality chocolate in there, you get that beautiful, really rich chocolatey flavour, and then we're going to contrast that with some bitter orange marmalade. So perfect combination. We have a little bit of milk here, and I'm just going to melt the block of chocolate in here. With the second block, if you could chop that up nice and fine for me.
I can do that for you.
So it's got quite a bit of chocolate in the recipe, but that just sort of brings that beautiful sort of chocolate depth of flavour.
And for this one, you're using the bitter chocolate, the 70%.
That's right. So it's got quite a bit of complexity to the flavour of it, but you have to sort of see again. So we have lots of almond meal in this Jamaretti as well, and that all needs to be flavoured with chocolate. So we need something that has got quite a bit of punch. So 70%.
Perfect. Now, you've got a serrated knife here. I would normally use a big chef's knife to cut it, but why am I using a serrated knife?
Well, I find with a serrated knife, it just sort of makes nice little shards of chocolate. So it just sort of, see, it gets those nice little pieces, and then you can just run your knife through the other way. I know you chefs are really good with your chef's knives. Us pastry chefs are not quite as savvy.
It does look really, really good. So there's a tip. Serrated knife cuts the chocolate up beautifully. Really nice. So you've got the chocolate in there and you just take it off the heat, haven't you?
That's right. So you really just sort of want to bring the milk up to just barely simmering, take it off the heat, and then let basically the heat of the milk just melt the chocolate.
You don't ever want to boil chocolate. You just want to just melt it gently so it stays together.
That's right. It's like quality chocolate is really quite heat sensitive, so we just need to be a little bit gentle when we sort of work with it. Okay, so we got the almond in here.
Now, they're toasted almonds, aren't they?
That's right. So it's normal almond meal, but then I just sort of put them in the oven until it's golden brown, and that really brings out that rich sort of nutty flavour as well. And then just a bit of caster sugar in here.
But that's different caster sugar. It's not the normal one, is it?
No, it's not it's actually like a raw caster sugar, but it's just a little bit of unrefined sugar that has a little bit more of a caramelly kind of flavour to it. But you can, if you have normal caster sugar, works just as well.
So, Thomas, you trained as a pastry chef and a chocolatier in Switzerland.
That's right. So in Switzerland, we do like a double degree. So we do patisserie and confiserie, which is the chocolate side, or you do patisserie and bakery, which is 2 a.m. starts and making croissants and things. So no wonder I'm into chocolate.
This is much more fun, I think. The toasting of the almonds is quite unique. That's a different thing, and that's going to bring a really interesting flavour. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
I think it's those small little things. Quality chocolate, the flavour of the almonds that comes through when you actually toast it, and a slightly different sort of sugar as well that you use. It just makes big difference with just some small little tweaks. And then just an egg white in there as well.
And that helps to bind it together?
Bind it all together, exactly.
This chocolate in there?
Straight in there. Okay, so that's once it sort of bakes, we'll have those little pockets of chocolate as well that just sort of melt.
That's if it even makes it into the oven, because it looks delicious just like that.
So all we do basically with this, you can spoon it onto the tray as well, but it's a little bit easier and a little bit cleaner if you use a piping bag. So straight in that goes.
And a little pro tip, if you are using one of these disposable piping bags, which are great to use, make sure you don't chop the tip of it off first, because then you're pouring it all the way through. It's like that never-ending cycle. It always makes a mess, isn't it?
It's a little bit tricky when it runs out faster than you pour it in at the top.
There we go. Now I'll hand that to you.
Thank you very much.
And the second tip is to use some scissors and cut the top. You're looking for a big hole?
Yes, because we've got those nice big chunks of chocolate in there. So we need a hole where they can actually go through. And then all we do is we pipe a log.
Ah, yes.
And we go back around a couple of times.
So it doesn't matter if it comes out a little bit rough, because it is quite a chunky mixture, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. And we can use like a little bit of a wet spoon as well, just to sort of help it shape. But this is a quick way of doing it. Because we're getting a lot of biscuits out of one.
Yes.
But you can easily just sort of individual pipe little rounds as well.
And if you want, you can just use a spoon if you don't have a piping
Absolutely, yeah. So we're just going to make sure that it's sort of even everywhere. All right, Richard, we put this into the oven for 8 minutes now.
Done.
180. All right, so they had their first time in the oven, so they're just starting to firm up a little bit on the outside. But then with the back of like a little palette knife or a chef's knife, you can just sort of make a nice little channel in there.
I would just stick my finger in there and just drag it along.
It's going to be a bit warm, Richard, but
Okay,
it's going to
will
be
be.
nice.
A centimetre deep, but that's what you're looking at.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
So we just do a nice little line of jam. So we don't want to overpower it with too much sweet jam.
It's all about the chocolate.
It's all about the chocolate. As you can see, look at all those nice chunks that you've made. So there we are.
Okay.
And then just with the jam, and you can really use whatever jam that you like. So I like the contrast of the bitterness of the orange marmalade.
Orange and chocolate go really well together. That's that Jaffa sort of flavour that you usually get with a little bit of orange zest in the
Beautiful,
chocolate.
fresh, or candied orange and dipped in chocolate is absolutely stunning as well. This is going back in the oven for another sort of 8 minutes to cook it through. Like, we don't want it to be too firm all the way through. Like with an amaretti, you want it still nice and moist. Morbidi in Italian, they call it.
Morbidi. That looks great, Thomas.
Excellent. So really what we're looking for is to be firm on the outside, but still have a nice bit of give, and it's nice and moist in the middle. Beautiful. I always add a little bit more chocolate. I think you know me by now.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful with a bit of gold dust as well.
Okay.
Or something to give a bit of contrast. And we're going to put some beautiful pistachios on it as well.
Even the way you drizzle the chocolate on, you can tell there's been thousands of years of experience of just putting the chocolate on. You just
Swiss chocolate making at its best.
Oh, unbelievable. The Swiss make the best chocolate in the world, and, you know, even the factory in Switzerland where you can go to and do a tour, apparently, you can eat as much chocolate as you want at the factory, can't you?
Yeah, almost. We actually just opened the world's largest chocolate museum, so it's absolutely stunning. You can learn everything about making chocolate and, of course, taste an awful lot of chocolate as well. So we're just going to cut nice little pieces of that.
Just cutting it on an angle, so it's a little bit of style there.
It's a little bit of style over substance, but it just makes it look pretty. But you just want to get that nice distribution of amaretti biscuit as well as the jam and the orange flavour as well. So
And a little bit of green on top for the nuts.
absolutely.
Yeah, loving that.
Just a real texture. Then we put a few under.
And you're cutting it nice and slow. It's like torture for me, watching you do that. Can I have a little piece on the side here? Let me have
course,
this little
of
piece
course.
there. I'll dip it in the chocolate, and then while I'm there, dip it in some pistachio.
This, with like an espresso, absolutely beautiful.
That is fantastic. It's got that chew to it. The almond is there, and I love the way you toasted the almond. It's beautiful. That is a cracking chocolate dish. I can't wait till you get back here next time.
We'll see you then.